Hey guys, it's Alyssa, the hopeless romantic redhead.
And I'm Danielle, the whodunit detective.
And welcome to Main Character Syndrome. If you feel like you are the main character in your life, you are in the right place.
I think I'm feeling more like a main character now that I host this now.
Yeah?
Just all the time I walk around, I'm the main character. My life, my husband's life, my dog's life.
Every moment is a main character moment.
Yes.
Every stage is a runway. That's what I look at.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, the world is your runway, basically. Anytime you go somewhere, you strut your stuff.
Nice.
Okay, so last time we talked about books versus movies. Today we're going to talk about our reading habits because I'm kind of curious as to what yours are. Danielle, I know we talked a little bit about it.
I think you and I are actually kind of different.
Yeah, I think we are. So we're going to take a little Buzzfeed quiz today to see how normal our reading habits are. Okay, so first off, where are you reading?
Well, Andrew and I moved into a new house a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We are in our house right now.
Right here.
Right
this
here.
This is our new studio.
Yes, and this is what I call my she room.
Mm-hmm.
And my she room is also our podcast recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's my makeup, getting ready for the day room, and it is also my supposedly reading room.
Yeah.
It's still a work in progress. So this is the room. I have a window, nice window, pull the blinds up, comfy chair, blanket, cup of coffee.
This is where you are the main character.
This is my she room. It's literally only mine because we don't have any children. Me and Shotzi are the only women in this house.
Okay, so would you say you would read in a comfy chair? Would you read at a desk?
Definitely a comfy chair or a couch.
Okay. I love reading by the pool in the summertime, and then in the wintertime, I have a little mushroom chair that's by my bookshelf, and I'll curl up into that, and it is like heaven. And I will just sit there for hours on end and read my books.
You see, I know you like to read by the pool. I can't.
Really?
I can't read at the pool. I can't read at the beach. I feel like when I hold the book, there's too much sunlight hitting the pages.
Oh.
So it's so bright against my eyes. And I'm like, oh, I'm blind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my thing.
I'm always wearing sunglasses. Always.
I should be. Well, yeah, I should be.
Yeah. No, sometimes it's hard, though, because when, it's ungodly hot outside, especially in August here in Missouri, I read for, 2 seconds, and then I have to dip in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be kind of disruptive. So then I like to read in the AC in a comfy chair.
Yeah.
So let's see how normal our reading habit for that is. So 22,000 people said in bed underneath at least 2 blankets.
Oh, I don't know. I can't really read in bed
I do
necessarily.
sometimes.
I definitely
at
fall
night.
asleep.
I've fallen asleep before. I do sometimes read in bed, though.
I'm like, Andrew and I like to watch TV also in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, all of a sudden, I'm like, knocked out.
Yeah.
Really fast.
24,000 said someplace cozy like a couch. And that was almost half, I would say, 47%.
Oh, yeah. I'm the winner.
Yeah. 5% said anywhere outside.
They're pretty rare.
Pretty rare. And then 4% at a desk or a table. I can't read at a desk. That's just not something
Probably
I can do.
a lot of lawyers.
Oh, seriously. Okay. Do you give commentary on the books you read?
Explain.
So do you take pauses when something interesting happens to kind of give commentary aloud? So, do you be like, oh my gosh, do you comment on the books that you read?
Not usually.
No?
Not usually.
I did with Iron Flame.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, oh no, she did not.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what the results are for that. 25% said, I take pauses when something interesting happens to give commentary aloud. 5% said that they live text their thoughts to their friends. Okay, I did that when I was reading Crescent City, House of Flame and Shadow. I was texting my friend Hannah.
I win.
She wins. 70% said, obviously, I have thoughts on what I'm reading, but I'm not saying them out loud.
That's me.
It's fine. I'm weird.
It's totally okay if that's your style. Like, if you're laughing aloud and oh, you silly Farrah.
You
silly
bitch.
Farrah. You want to be with Tamlin. Maybe, actually, you know what? I kind of take that back. Maybe in let's see, which book was it? A Court of Mist and Fury. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one being like, Farrah, just let him go.
Let him go.
Stop.
She was clever at the end.
Yes.
But that was an interesting one.
When a setting is being described, what's going on inside of your head?
So, like, what do you see?
I think I can typically visualize pretty well. I have a really good imagination, I would say.
Yeah, I can visualize it myself. So we can visualize.
I think, though, that it also has a lot to do with the author's writing.
Yeah, that too. Okay, 44% said that they can visualize it perfectly, like you're watching a scene in a movie. I would say I can do that myself. 46%, I can see parts of it, but it's hard to get the whole picture. And then only 5%, I'm picturing more of a layout of an area rather than an actual picture. And then 5% said I'm not picturing anything.
You're just not reading the right books then.
You know, I know there's like some population of humans who cannot visualize.
That's very interesting. And, you know, no offense to you guys. I'm not trying to knock you.
No, for sure.
I find that so hard to imagine just because I think, picture a lot of this stuff.
No, I read it somewhere, but there's a good chunk of people that actually can't visualize it.
I would love to talk to someone who's like that.
That'd be very interesting to hear about. Okay, what's the most appealing draw when you're deciding on a book? The title, the cover, the author?
The genre.
The genre?
Murder mystery. I'm like, okay, wait. And then definitely I will say title or the cover page. Title, what the front cover looks like. And then obviously, you know, when that draws me in, obviously the synopsis. I will say Wrong Place, Wrong Time.
That was a good one.
This book cover that we are showing in a video right now really got me. I saw this on a shelf and I was like, wait a second, this looks cool. Then I read the synopsis and I was like, okay, that actually sounds awesome. Sounds just like it was for me. It
was a great read. Personally, I do judge a book by its cover. If it's pretty, I'll buy it, I'll read it. I'm like, ooh, this is cute. The author too. But I'm also a good sucker for a good title. So, like, all three kind of have, like, a factor of, like, whether or not I pick up the book.
I think I'm really starting to get into maybe the author thing a little bit more. Now that I'm starting to read more, I will talk about this kind of in probably our next one, but David Ellis. I'm like, I think I might read anything that David Ellis writes now.
Yeah, he's a good one. All right, so the results for that one. What's the most appealing draw when you're deciding on a book? 24% said the title, 44% said the cover, 21% said the author, and 11% said if it's been hyped up on social media.
I do not read anything.
I know you absolutely hate the hype. It depends. Like, if someone reads a synopsis on TikTok and I'm like, oh, that sounds like something I would read, then I would maybe pick it up.
Yeah.
But if it's just a girl like, oh my God, I love this book, it's like, you're getting paid to say this. You gotta not be so influenced as to thinking that everything is a genuine reaction.
Yeah.
You gotta look at it as people are being paid to do this.
People like making money. No knock on that.
No knock.
But I need to know if you're getting paid for this.
I've read a TikTok book that I was not impressed with.
Next question. When a character's appearance is being described, what are you picturing? If it's a man and he has muscles, someone hot.
Yeah. No, I think of, like, actors, and I visualize, like, okay, which actor has this color hair, this kind of build, and, like, those kind of nose. But a lot of the times, if it's a dark-haired, tall, handsome man, I think Ian Somerhalder, also known as Damon Salvatore from The Vampire Diaries.
Wow. Yeah, he's a hottie.
He's very hot.
I don't know. I don't ever picture necessarily actresses as characters. I think maybe that's kind of good in a sense, so that if it is turned into a TV show or a film, I'm not let down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be interesting. I bet you'd be able to imagine it more.
All right, let's see the results of this one. 57% said they can visualize a character in my head that fits a description by the author. 16% said I'm fan casting an actor that best fits the character description and picturing that. 22%, I don't care about the author's character description. I decide what that character looks like.
You know what? It's your experience while you're reading it, so why not? As long as it's not like super significant to the book.
Yeah.
But like.
And then 5% said, I'm not picturing anything. Okay. What style of books do you prefer?
When, obviously, I love audiobooks, but when I am like, I have a copy of a book, I'm reading something, it has to be hardcover.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for a good physical copy. I do love audiobooks, so I'll put on an audiobook when I need to do chores and like actually need to do stuff and not be a bump on the log. I justify that by putting an audiobook and just like doing laundry, doing dishes. And then sometimes when it's like Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and I really want to retain some information, I'll put an audiobook and read a physical book at the same time. But for the most part, I like hardcover books.
I haven't gotten into the ebook, like Kindle.
The only reason I will read an ebook is if it's basically a library book and I am broke and I cannot buy the physical book, or I need to read this book now and I need to know what happens now and I cannot wait for the physical book in my hands.
Yeah. Here's something interesting though. I'm an audiobook and like a hardcover book kind of person. My husband is a Kindle reader.
Oh, interesting.
We are a house divided.
Opposites attract.
The two can go together.
Okay. 55% actually said paperback.
Interesting.
33% said hardcover, and then 12% said ebook. Nothing about audiobooks, though.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're just unique. All right. What genre would you say that you read the most?
Murder mystery, thriller, psychological thriller,
fantasy, romance, fiction, all of the above. Okay. 15% said historical fiction, 33% said fantasy, 29% YA or young adult, 10% said nonfiction, 5% said science fiction, 8% said horror.
What? Come on, people. What is wrong with you? It's so good.
You do scare me sometimes by how much you love horror.
It's weird. I'm such a nice, bubbly, friendly kind of person. Like, and I'm definitely more outgoing. And so it is, I would say, a little not the stereotype.
Got a bit of a dark side.
Yeah.
Okay, when a character speaks, are you hearing anything in your head? I do. Like, I can hear the words and I can hear them in, like, a male voice or a female voice.
Yeah, I'm hearing stuff in my head.
Yeah. Let's see the results of
It also makes it a little harder to answer that when I'm actually listening to
that
the book
too.
aloud.
Yeah, audiobooks.
But when I am holding the book in my hand and physically reading it.
Do you read it in your own voice or do you hear different voices?
I hear different voices.
Yeah, me too. 42% said, I can hear the words that are being spoken in my own voice. 44% said, I can hear the words in the voice of the character speaking. 13% said, I can't hear anything. And then 1% said, I prefer to read aloud.
You know, props to you people who love to read aloud. I would love that. And I bet your ability to public speak is incredible.
Yeah. I do sometimes when I want to work on my public speaking, I do read aloud.
I need to do that more because my public speaking, even though I work in television, is actually poor. I get so nervous.
Same. Words, thoughts, and sentences are very hard to say sometimes. Yes. And sometimes I just have a stroke on live television. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah, literally. Literally.
Okay. How often are you reading books?
Rereading.
How often are you rereading books?
Not often.
It depends on the book. So Fourth Wing I've read probably 4 or 5 times. Iron Flame maybe 3. But that's because there's so much happening that I need to, like, reread it.
Yeah, actually, I will say, when we actually started this podcast, I did reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame.
Yeah. But there are, like, books that I'll go back to, like, my favorite parts. If I own the book physically, like, I'll go back to Reckless or Powerless or A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'll like look back on like the scenes that made me feel things. But I won't like reread the whole book unless like I really, really loved it.
I would definitely reread the whole book. I've been saying I want to reread some of David Ellis's one of his books. And I just finished a couple Stephen King books that are super long.
Yeah.
Super long. So it'll take a while, but I bet I get back to them eventually.
Yeah. I'm going to reread Throne of Glass because now I have all of the physical copies.
And I am reading them too. And so we want to do some podcast episodes on that.
Yeah. We'll maybe do like, I don't know, an episode a book.
Yeah. Sounds good.
We'll probably do that coming soon.
A couple months.
Yeah. Let us see what the results for this one was. 11% said they are never rereading books. 70% said if it's a favorite, I'll come back around to it eventually. And then 11% said I'll reread passages that I liked, but never a whole book. 8% said as soon as I finish a book, I'm rereading. So I'm somewhere in between the 70 and the 11%.
Yeah.
When the author describes a character making a facial expression, what are you doing?
No, that's funny. Sometimes I will catch myself making that expression. Or, yeah, definitely like acting out.
Yeah.
That feeling, that emotion. So.
Do you have one that happens more than often?
It's more like what the hell kind of look.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Like squinting the eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is the raised eyebrows.
She
raised an eyebrow and I'm like, oh. And then I just find myself going like this.
That's awesome.
But yes. Let us see if we are weirdos here. 35% said I'm absolutely making that facial expression. 54% said I'm picturing the character making a face in my head.
I bet you guys do it without noticing too.
I bet too, like unconsciously or subconsciously. 11% said I'm just reading the words.
Just reading the words.
Well, you're boring.
No.
Just kidding.
But, it's not as fun that way, I will say.
Okay, finally, what time of day are you reading?
I love to read in the morning.
Oh, you're a morning reader.
Yeah, I think it's so peaceful and such a great way to start my mornings on like Saturday or Sunday morning. It's the weekend. I wake up early, not all the time. I'm not a psycho. And get a cup of coffee and open up the windows, sit on my little couch, my little nook area, and watch the sunrise as I'm reading a book.
Okay.
That's like really peaceful.
I like afternoon or like evening, and then once in a while, if I really love the book and I cannot put it down, you'll catch me reading till sunrise.
Yeah, I love sleep. So even though I do wake up early sometimes, I do not like to stay up super late to read.
Yeah, when Iron Flame first came out, I read that book so fast, and when I finished it, I told you it was like 4 a.m.
I saw something on the internet today where someone was like, I'm doing my first like 24-hour book marathon.
Oh, I've seen some of those on TikTok where they'll film themselves having like a 24-hour book marathon, seeing like how many books they can read.
That's too much for me.
It is.
When I sit down in one spot for too long and I'm like looking at a book or even the television, I get a headache.
Yeah.
I get like stir crazy and I feel sick. So I don't know how people can do that.
My brain gets tired, but I do like get up, walk around, get a snack, and then I'll come back to my book. But I will finish it at 4 a.m.
No, you have to wear a diaper. I'm assuming these people are wearing diapers. They're in their pantry already. No,
it's like a hardcore surgery, man. We need to stick it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6% said that they are reading right after they wake up.
Interesting.
30% said afternoon. 52% said just before bed, and then 12% past midnight.
Well, I'm going to challenge you all to try one weekend morning. It doesn't have to be super early. It doesn't have to be before sunrise. To just, wake up, get a coffee, make a tea, sit down with a really good book.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
So those are our reading habits. We want to know what your reading habits are, what your answers to these questions would be. Let us know on social media, Main Character Syndrome Pod. For now, to the readers who listen, we'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.